Welcome back to part 2 of the intercooler fabrication for the 2JZ RX-7 drift build series. In the last video, we finished up the hot side intercooler piping, stepping from our G30 770 turbo down to our HD clamps, which allowed us to go from 2-inch to a 3-inch diameter, all the way down to our pie cuts and down to our intercooler. And in today's video, we're gonna work on the cold side, which should be much simpler, should only involve a few mandrel bends to get down to our vibrant intercooler. So for the cold side, I've already got my 90-degree bend welded to the HD ferrule, which is then attached using this vibrant HD clamp alignment tool. And I'm gonna come off of that 90-degree bend, hit it with another 90 mandrel, and come up into our fender well. And then from there, I'm gonna use a 45 and come off of our intake manifold and straight down into the corner. So this should be pretty simple, shouldn't involve too many pieces. Biggest concern here is just hood clearance. I've been waiting on a hood for about 4 months, so I still can't guarantee anything, but it's sure looking not good. So it is what it is. I could bring this back further to try and allow it to have a little bit more room, but I'm more concerned with getting it as far away from the tires as I can. And I'm gonna have to cut the hood no matter what. So I'm gonna bring that thing out and try and get it down into the corner as well as I can. Also on the agenda for today is to come up with a solution for an air intake tube that now comes off of the housing and down further into the corner of the fender well, because the original one, using my 45-degree mandrel bend, was touching my intercooler piping here and keeping the air filter really high in the way of the hood. So in order to achieve the bend that I need, I'm just going to use pie cuts again, and whipped up these 3D printed pieces that are at 5-degree cuts on either side. And the reason I do 5 degrees is because of my fixture for my bandsaw. It's got these little notches, so it locks me in at 5 degrees, so I can't use the traditional 7.5 that people use. So it is what it is. It should be decent and get me to where I need to be. So the next issue with that is material. I don't have any 4-inch aluminum tube anymore, so what I do have is a ton of stainless in 4-inch and in straight sections. So I think I'm gonna do a stainless intake. It's not as common, it's gonna hold heat, it's gonna be heavier, but it'll do. It's using material I have, and I can always switch to titanium in the future. I really wanted to try that. So for now, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll have to whip up some sort of brace down here to hold it, because it's gonna be heavy. But we'll worry about that later. For now, I'm gonna get cutting and start working on that cold side. So the way that I'm starting this out is I'm using my level to make sure that this 90-degree bend is level to the ground, and then I'm using the 45-degree elbow. And if I fish this up to my intake manifold, I want to make sure that this top 90-degree bend is oriented in a way that leaves my bottom tube parallel to the ground and not shifted a certain way. Because once it's parallel to the ground, I can cut it so that it brings it in and out, but I need to make sure it's level first. After I oriented my top tube so that my 45-degree bend was parallel to the ground, I took a little bit of material off of this side in order to scooch this piece in closer towards the frame rail. And then I took a little bit off the bottom and attached my 90, and this is where I'm at right now. So I have a little bit of a height difference, so I've just balanced this steel rule, and now I'm just gonna take off maybe like 1.5 inches or so and just try and sneak up on it until these 2 pieces of tube are on the same plane. Once that's done, then I'll figure out what I gotta do in between. All right, as easy as that. The cold side's pretty well fit up. I knocked out this quick little mandrel bend out of some scrap, and it fit up almost perfect out of the gate, so I got lucky there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and mark my lines, tack these 2 pieces, tack the 3 bottom ones, and then I'll meet in the middle where I kind of have my problem fit up spot. So I'll get that dialed in at the very end and then start final welding. I can't believe how incredibly quick and easy the cold side was compared to the hot side. This was a massive amount of work compared to what I just did. So exciting to finally have a full preview of what this looks like, and stoked on how it's looking. So let's go ahead and start welding. All right, intercooler fabrication is complete. I couldn't be happier with how it turned out for my first time doing intercooler piping. The cold side was so much easier than the hot side. I spent way less time on it. And as you saw from those clips, I came up with a solution for my intake. I found a piece of scrap aluminum in 4-inch diameter and just welded it to my previous mandrel bend. And you can see a witness line. I might go back, add another layer of weld, go back and try and blend. Or if I get really picky, I'll just buy another mandrel bent piece with the straight edge on it from Vibrant and start over. But yeah, super happy to have this huge fabrication piece complete. There's really not a whole lot of fabrication left for this car aside from a trans mount, which is what we're going to get into probably in the next video or maybe the next two. A little bit of work in the fuel cell area still, but we're making moves. If you're enjoying this type of content, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.